Okay, so this is the beginning of a three-part series, and we're going to learn how to start making our own progressions so that we can write our own songs, and also know what we're doing. It's the beginning, it's the first step to knowing how to jam with people. If you ever want to go to a jam, this information is going to go a long way to getting you there. Everything's going to be in the key of A. We're going to be playing in the key of A when we get there, and we're going to learn how to do make progressions in the key of A and all the different tools or chords that we have at our disposal to be able to do what we want. But first, what we have to do, so we know how to play major chords. We've learned the G form. We've learned the C form that can move up the neck, so that's C, but if we wanted to make it D, we'd move up 2 to E, 1 to F, 2 to G. So that's the C form because you go to the very end, and whatever chord that is, that's the form we're using. The G is this one, because it's at the one we make. So that's how you play G, move up 2, everything up 2. That's A, everything up 2. B, 1, C, 2 to D, and so on. And then the other one that we learned is E. What a beautiful chord. And it moves right on up the neck too. You move up 1, F, move up 2, G, move up to A, 2 to B, 1 to C. Now, if you're wondering why I'm moving up 1 on some and 2 on the others, that was a lesson before, but just basically E and F are always right next to each other. So hence E, move to F, only 1. And B and C are right next to each other. So if you're in B, and that's in the G form, you move up 1 to C. Everything else is 2 frets apart. So from F to G, you have to skip a fret in between there. So that's why we do what we do. So it's great that we know all these major chords. But like if we're in the key of A, D, and E. We could write songs all day long, and you could go from A to D to A to D to A, E, A. However you want to mix them up to make your song, that's great. But it's limited because there's 3 major chords that we're playing. So now we want to play minor chords. In this lesson, now that I'm done talking a lot about really nothing, like I wouldn't say nothing. We've already learned it before, so it's a recap. It's not nothing, it's a recap. Let's do minor chords. And again, this is going to be the same way. You know your A minor up here. Ooh, spooky. So A minor. There's A, same kind of thing. You move up 2, you have a B minor. Move up 1, B and C are right next to each other. There's C, move up 2 to D, move up 2 to E, and so forth. So there's an E minor. And the other one we're going to learn, so it's however you play your A minor up here, so you have your top string on 2nd fret, G string 2nd fret, B string 1st fret, and open on the bottom. And then you slide everything. Now it's this G note, whatever the note is on the G string, that names the chord. So when you're playing an A minor on that G string 2nd fret, that's an A note, and that's what names that chord. So we move up 2, that's B right here. 1 to C. Okay, so now you know how to play the A minor. It's the A minor shape, and you can move up and down. The E is even easier because E, when you play E minor, you just play the 2nd fret on the D string, And that's what's naming it there. Two frets are naming, two strings name this one. The top one, which the second fret is E, and then the bottom one also is, that's an E. And the difference between playing the E chord is just lifting this in an E minor, is just lifting this middle finger that's playing. Man, what are we playing there? That's a G sharp. So to make it minor, you just lift it. So if you're playing A here, and you know these E shape chords up and down the neck, you already know the minors. You just have to lift this middle finger and you have your minor. So that one's even easier. So get those two in your head. And even there, an A minor to an E minor, you know, you can see something. I got my little dog Scram laying on the bed. Scramber's laying on the bed, he's relaxing. He's had a hard day doing nothing. So right there, between A minor and E minor, man, you could just make yourself a little song right there. So practice up on those two minors and get familiar with where they are. Like if you're playing it here, that would be D minor. And learn those, get them under your head, but don't get too crazy about it. Because everything's repetitive and pattern based in popular music, and so it'll be, don't get too fried about trying to know, well, what is this one right here called? If you don't know it right off the bat, don't stress, it'll all come in time. Okay, so we're moving into chord progressions, and we're starting with learning our minor chords. Let me just add one more, and this isn't one of our, everybody knows how to play that D chord. That's one of the first chords you learn. Well, that's a transposable form too. In fact, that's what we do when we play this. But you can play just the bottom three strings, not the top. Once you start moving up, when you play D, you can play the top string open because that's a D. But when you want to play E, you move everything up two, and you don't, see, I'm muting that E. Muted. So just rest your thumb there. F, G. So the way you make the minor is all you do is this bottom E string, you just move, instead of playing the second fret, you play the first fret. And that's your D minor. So it moves up two. You can move up two to E minor. Then one to F, two to G. And remember, it's this B note on the note on the B string that's naming it. Okay, so that's three ways. We added that bonus way of playing it. You're not playing all the strings. You could, like when you're playing E, this E like this, you could change it and play it like this and stretch and cover that E. But that's so hard to do. When I'm gonna do this, I just mute that top string. That's A. Is that right? That didn't seem right. This is A. This is the scrambler. To E minor. To A. To E minor. right there that we just learned. So, man, oh man, you're learning all kinds of stuff. So you have 3 ways to play every minor now. The old-fashioned D way, but as you move up, don't play the top string. Then we have the E minor, which you move up to F, to G minor, to A minor, to B, to C minor, and then the A minor shape, which is A, B minor, C minor, D minor, E minor. So practice those, have fun with it. And then next lesson, the second lesson of the 3, we're going to start learning chord progressions in the key of A. And it's going to be fun, and hopefully it'll open up all kinds of creative avenues for you to start writing your own songs. Okay, I'm in hiking backpacking season these days, so if there's a little longer between lessons, please forgive me. I'm thinking about playing the ukulele, but a lot of times I'm thinking about it when I'm on a dirty, dusty trail somewhere. But just hang in. We'll get there. I'll try to keep these next 3 close together just so you don't dry out like the Oregon desert in July. Anyway, have fun. Happy playing. Until next time, just keep on playing. Enjoy yourself.